Mabuhay! My name is Fred Doctossel with Mabuhay Credit Union, and I would like to welcome you to another episode of Mabuhay Community Corner. Here with me today is Chef Romeo Garcia. He is the chairman of the Long Beach Parol and Lantern Festival. Thank you so much for being here with us
today, Chef.
Thanks for having
me, Fred. I really appreciate it.
Oh yes, absolutely. This is a special time of the year for us, right? So we're definitely glad to have you here representing our partners at the Long Beach Parol Festival. Now, the Philippines is known for having the longest unofficial holiday season, the Christmas season, right? Why do you think that is? I mean, how do people kind of mark the calendar, so to speak?
Right. I think it's a beautiful thing that, the home island celebrates it a lot earlier. For someone who was actually born in the Philippines and then came to the U.S. earlier, I saw the celebrations firsthand when I was a kid. And There's something just so beautiful and nostalgic about seeing the decorations as early as September, as we know, because of the Burr months there. And I just think it's a beautiful tradition. I mean, granted, there's some religious aspects of it too, but the primary underlying notion of it is bringing families together. And for our community, that sense of kapwa and community and the family is very important. And then finding those occasions where we could actually bring everyone together is very important. So I think this is why this is one of the most epic celebrations that the Philippines has.
It really is. Like you said, Burr months, that's when you start hearing the holiday songs, right? Now, talk to us about some of these traditions that we as a people share, not just in the Philippines, but also, in the global diaspora, particularly here.
Absolutely. So from what I saw in the Philippines, a lot of the traditions is centered around, at least from the province that I'm from, centered around the church and going to different masses. The Noche Buena meal is a big tradition, which food speaks to my heart. So there's a lot of cuisine that's centered around the holidays. And then I did bring a sample because one of the traditions that I love is the lanterns, the parols.
Yes.
And so seeing these throughout the barangay, seeing these hung, lit up, anywhere from these handcrafted ones to fully elaborate capiz parols is just a beautiful cultural signifier of the holiday season. Now, we know that the Filipino diaspora is all throughout. And so with American influence, I mean, we see the holiday Christmas trees already coming up. And so we see a lot of that fusion and that celebration of the holiday season really transpiring in the Filipino community as well, too. Been pretty early as well.
Very early, for sure. Now, again, Mabuhay Credit Union is very proud of the fact that we do have an association partnership with the Long Beach Parol and Lantern Festival. We've been fortunate to have had a chance to host this celebration on historic Pine Avenue in downtown Long Beach for the last 2 years. You mentioned that this was made, handcrafted during our celebration. Talk to us about the significance of the parol and, in terms of bringing the family together and really make us think of home during the holidays.
Absolutely. And the location is very important to show that the Filipino community has been in Southern California for quite some time. Right. I've been fortunate enough to find a location for a chocolate and wine bar in downtown Long Beach. And my promise to myself is that if we have this space, that it's a space for community to congregate and to celebrate culture.
Yes.
And that's really why I want to bring this tradition, for instance, the Long Beach Parol Festival, to historic Pine Avenue, a street that has major visibility throughout not just Long Beach, but Southern California. Mabuhay Credit Union has been pivotal. I mean, it's part of the founding group that started the Parol Festival here in Long Beach, along with several community volunteers who really were instrumental in bringing this together. I do have to mention that this is honoring the tradition that came from San Francisco.
Yes.
So numerous years ago, I have to say it was almost 2 decades ago, an organizing group in Soma, in the South of Market, started organizing Parol Festival and really galvanizing the community around this celebration about the Parol. We even invited Kuya MC Canlas to come to Long Beach. We flew him over here, and he actually did the demonstration of how to use the bamboo sticks, how to use the cellophane, and how to create these. Because here in Long Beach, we didn't really have a lot of community practitioners doing this. And part of the importance of this tradition is that we don't lose it.
That's true.
And to find, ancestral knowledge to pass it down so that way the future generations know about the parol and can pass it down. Trust, these are not easy to make though.
No,
I mean, the workshop
all.
is important, but once you master it, I mean, the community made such masterpieces.
I can definitely attest to the fact that these are difficult because one of the traditions that I have with my kids has been to create a parol.
Right.
And in years past, we would take so long that towards the end of it, kind of the kids lose interest. But since we've had the Parol Festival, we've actually completed the family parol. So I'm definitely proud of what we're doing in terms of bringing the culture through the community.
Yes.
Right? Now, again, the last 2 years, we've had a chance to get together as a community and celebrate together. Right? Now, in light of the global COVID-19 pandemic that we're in right now, obviously it's not safe to do so. How is the Long Beach Parol and Lantern Festival kind of pivoting and celebrating while still, keeping everybody safe?
Right. It's been an unprecedented year, for sure. On many levels. One of the primary levels is around health and safety.
Right.
For even our restaurant, we've had to pivot in major ways in making sure that our guests were safe. And so guidelines have told us until we get clearance, we actually can't have large congregating events such as the Long Beach Parol Festival that brought hundreds of members and visitors to downtown Long Beach for this event. But, just like many things, our community is resourceful. We're innovative, and we'll figure something out moving forward. It might be a hybrid event where we have a social distance Parol Festival. We do have an outdoor parklet on Pine Avenue, and we have social distance chocolate cabanas for folks as well too. So I can imagine that we could do social distance spread out the event. But the key thing is to assess where people feel most comfortable and most safe. And so if it would mean that we would need to do a hybrid or a virtual event, that's also something that we can do. And I think the key thing is that we just bring the awareness out there that this tradition exists, and find some modality, whether it be online, Facebook, Instagram, or even a small scale in-person event to connect people to this tradition.
Now, you actually mentioned something that I definitely want to highlight. You are an award-winning chocolatier, right? And you mentioned earlier that food is definitely a love language for our community. The holiday season, obviously, there's a lot of different, seasonal foods, if you will. Is there anything in particular that, when you see it, when you taste it, automatically it brings out the holidays for you?
Yeah, absolutely. You're speaking my language. I love talking about food. Right. Separate from making chocolates, I'm just a big foodie in both savory and also desserts and pastries as well, too. There's so many elements of Filipino food that really remind me of the holidays and more so remind me of family. Okay. And so namely, my mother, I actually followed her footsteps. She was an educator as well, but she also was a dessert chef as well.
Okay.
And I say that because, she owned a sari-sari store and she made like little dessert dishes, but the caliber of her dishes was so strong. And so things like leche plan remind me of my mom, the champorado recipe that my mom has. The champorado recipe that my Lola had taught her and now she had taught me is one of the important traditions. The street markets in the Philippines, getting a banana queue, getting banana turon. Oh my gosh, they're incredible. Fish balls. So all the street food, my mouth is watering just talking about it. All the street food. And then, of course, my dad's a really amazing cook as well, too. So a classic, Filipino adobo dish, whether it be pork or whether chicken or vegan. He just makes fantastic adobo, and everyone claims that their family makes the best adobo. I believe you. And my dad also makes really great adobo as well. And anytime he makes it, it reminds me of home. It reminds me of comfort. It reminds me of family. Nice. And it's really important. And then there's other not so well-known dishes that's very important in our cuisine. Kare-kare, dinuguan.
That's right. Yeah.
And that's also really fantastic too. And regional cuisine, because I know you're from the southern parts.
Yes.
So your cuisine, we have so many islands and there's so much food.
True.
So what would be your foods that you love?
Well, the queso de bola is definitely, when you talk about the holidays, that, you have that in the middle, right? So there's, I'm definitely with you though. Whatever is in front, that's it right there. Yeah. But as far as bringing family together, I think that's a key takeaway of the holidays.
Right.
And granted, again, we have to do it in a safe manner during these times. But at the end of the day, I think what's central to how we observe the Philippine holiday season, the Christmas season, is being with your family and your loved ones.
Absolutely.
Right? So, man, thank you so much, Chef Romeo.
My pleasure. Thank you
for being here with us today and enlightening, our community about how we celebrate the holidays. All right, folks, if you haven't done so yet, please do ensure that you follow us on all of our social media accounts. It's very simple. It's all at Mabuhay CU. Again, that's the at symbol, MABUHAYCU. In closing, allow me to share with you today's penny for your thoughts. Christmas season isn't so much about opening presents as it is opening our hearts. My name again is Fred Doc Dossel with Mabuhay Credit Union. This has been another episode of Mabuhay Community Corner with Chef Romeo Garcia of Long Beach Parol and Lantern Festival. Maligayang Pasko sa inyong lahat. Merry Christmas to one and all. Salamat and mabuhay!